One of my biggest pet peeves with this whole trucking industry is that we are not considered a profession.
Do you know who the victim is? It's the truck driver.
The government has stepped in and restricted what I can make for money. They're telling me what I can make. When I was in the industry, I worked for companies and they knew my name. They're enablers in the new trucking industry. They're making it so that anyone can drive these things. I'm sorry, you're not a truck driver.
What went wrong? What happened?
The only thing that I can come up with, Ali, is...
So I just need 30 seconds of your time for two things. One, I want to thank everybody who watches the show and has subscribed to our channel. It does help us a lot. It's a free thing to do to subscribe or like our show, but it does help us a lot on our end. Secondly, if you have not done so far, please join the 31% of the people that come regularly to watch this show. And if you enjoy the show and you tell us that you enjoy the show, this is going to make us even do better. We do this show for the love of trucks and trucking, and we genuinely feel truckers and overall trucking industry needs a lot of attention. And we do this on our own. There is nobody involved in this show. And if you help us, we don't need anybody. And we want to thank you once again for watching and just supporting us in this journey. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Welcome to the Truck Stop Show. Today we're joined by John Adams, who's done trucking for many, many years. And I'm excited to have him on the show. John, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Always glad to be in a situation that shows the transportation industry in a positive force.
John, you're already nervous, are you not?
A little bit. Yeah.
You don't have to be nervous, okay?
I'm not a public speaker.
No, you'll be fine, okay? That's my job to make sure you're
that's
fine.
Good. Thanks, mate.
So, John, tell us, how long have you trucked?
I've been trucking now for 51 years.
51 years.
Yes, sir.
That's almost double my life, perhaps, somewhat. I'm not the best with the math.
You bet, yeah. I did not grow up in trucking, but as a young man, I grew up in Goderich, Ontario, and we lived at the top of the Dock Hill in Goderich, so the grain trucks were always going by. So I would run down in the morning. I'm all of anywhere between 5 and 10 years old, and I'd run down. I'd show the fellas how to load their trucks, their grain trucks. They let me get up on top of the grain trucks. I mean, at that age, you just don't do that anymore. But then they would give me a ride up on top of the Dock Hill, and I'd run back down and do it again. I'd do this all day. So it's trucking has been something that I've always loved. I mean, it's just been something I've always done.
Wow. So it always fascinates me. In that time, your parents had no safety concern?
Isn't that something? It was in the morning. Mother would get me out of bed. They'd feed you your breakfast, kick you to the curb, and then you have to be home by the lights on. They didn't care who fed you at noon. Somebody's mother fed you. So then you come home at night. It was just, that's the Tom Sawyer stories and Huckleberry Finn. I lived that. Luckily.
Wow.
Luckily.
And then what happened in our time?
Well, isn't it something that we can now look at that and say, I can't have you go across the street without me
Correct.
supervising or being in their lives. What do they call that? Micromanaging and our kids and our family. It's not a great time, is it? But back then, up in Goderich, we just lived the life. We had a whole group of us. I bet you there was 10 or 20. I'm still best friends with the gentleman that I played hooky in kindergarten with. We go motorcycling together. We go play hooky together. We just run away together, and it's just a wonderful time.
It's a lifetime friendship.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I've got a couple or three fellas that I grew up with in Goderich that to this day are my very best friends.
John, let me tell you something. You're very, very lucky. You know why? You are born in the area. You were able to spend your entire life so far in the area.
Yes.
And you were still able to maintain these relationships that you literally born with, grown up with. I think it's a very big thing.
I grew up in Goderich. You had three choices. You could work at the grader factory down at the salt mine or go to Douglas Point. And I didn't want to do any of those. So I moved to the big city of Kitchener and went truck driving. Well, actually, I went in the Navy. I was in the Navy for 3 years.
You've been in the Army.
Well, the Navy.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be in the Army. I mean,
Army, Navy, different things?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, you
Sorry.
fellow wouldn't.
The host doesn't know
Good
everything,
Navy guy
okay?
would never say anything good about the Army.
Okay.
But we, after that, then I came back and I was in Kitchener and truck driving ever since. I started my first truck driving job. I worked for the Brewers Retail through Oktoberfest.
Mm-hmm. I know the Oktoberfest in Kitchener. Big thing. Yeah.
And they said, I had hitchhiked as a young man. Isn't that there back again?
Okay, hold on.
Hitchhiked all over.
You know, before you continue with your story, my question to you is, how do you, so it has nothing to do with trucking, by the way.
Yes.
Okay, it has to do with life. How do you compare these two different eras where in one, you said your mom would only be concerned if you didn't make it home at the end of the day.
Correct.
And now you said micro-parenting or whatever that is.
Yes.
I mean, like you want to know every single second where your kid is.
Absolutely.
And then you can't let him go. Even talk to a stranger. Schools preach this. Do not, there's poems about it. Don't talk to a stranger.
Boy, there again, is it the electronic age that we have accessibility to all these different avenues of life? And it has soiled, in my opinion, our living today. It gives us a different outlook on everything, and it's.
Do you feel bad for the kids that are in this time?
Oh, absolutely. Because they won't have what I had. So I had free reign when my life growing up. I've done everything that I've wanted to do at any time and stuff, and I don't think that's available today.
This is a message for those. I don't know if they watch our show or no, but you know, when you do a tiny, small bad things in the society, even a theft, you know, you're leaving a footprint. And all these people who did whatever have led the society or reshaped the society in a way that parents can't let their kids go anywhere.
We collectively, some of my friends, the retired truck drivers and whatnot, when we get together and we rationalize our lives, we generally would say we'd still be in prison if we got caught for a lot of the stuff we did back then today, because we got away with a lot of different things.
Give me some examples.
Oh, I don't think I can.
Come on, go ahead. It's.
I never. Well, I'd have to think some of this through. I mean, we just some of the places we went into that you're not supposed to go without an invitation. Using a car that doesn't belong to you and things of that nature. I mean, it's just back in the day. I was never responsible, but I was always along. I was always encouraging. So
now, do you have any safety concerns in your head at that point? For example, you can't say there weren't any bad people out there back then. There's always bad people out there, right?
It was never even a thought, Ollie. I'm not joking. I wouldn't. The only bad people that you would meet would be arseholes. They would be people of ill repute. There would just be people that meant me harm or stuff like that. Guy want to have a scrap or something like that, and you'd have to work through that and things of that nature. But no, never evil things. So
as you may know, a whole bunch of people that I work with were your generation. So I kind of felt the mental strength these people have. You know, I kind of learned from myself too, you know, but I guess that is where that mental strength comes from. Because nowadays, a majority of people are very emotionally weak or, not strong in their head. And then that all leads to decision making. And sometimes, like you struggle with decision making. What do I do in this moment or, in that situation or now? What do I do kind of thing? So, I mean, overall, it's just, my personal, greed, let's call it. That I kind of, because I heard these stories several times in the past that, like you were a free kid rather than now you're always under watch.
Always
So
being looked
I think
after,
all of
yeah.
these things would shape you what you are. So
Sure,
back to trucking now. Sorry, to your story. So you ended your career in Navy. You came back to Kitchener, and your first job was with Oktoberfest.
working for Brewers Retail,
Mm-hmm.
and which I had alluded to. I had hitchhiked back in the day, and trucks would pick me up. And I learned how to drive a truck and to shift a gear by watching them in these trucks
So you were
as a young man.
I know, but was that so? At this point, you were done Navy.
No, this is prior to the Navy.
Prior to, okay, so hang on a second. So let me get this together. So you would hitchhike from where to where?
Goderich to wherever the girlfriend was. So I went to Toronto. I came to London, Stratford, Mitchell, wherever the girlfriend was. That's
So
where I would hitchhike.
how old are you at this time? Just approximate.
16.
16, 17.
Yeah.
And you still have zero safety concern? And we're
Zero.
talking what, 60s, 70s?
I was born in 55, so it'd be 1970.
Just around 70.
65, 70, somewhere in there.
Right. And you're so tell me, so when you would get into a truck, you have any story, like kind of the people you met at the time?
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, one of the fellows impressed one of the grain places that would haul feed out of there. They had the most beautiful red Kenworth, conventional Kenworths, and they worked out of this area. One of those guys, I ended up working with him. And
Later on.
And we only knew this later as we were sitting around. He says that he remembered this kid. And I said, well, that would have been me. I said, and we talked and we had quite a time. But anyways, I hitchhiked and I learned how to drive a truck. So when I got out of the Navy, the first job, my friend lived in, my best friend, Bobby. He worked he went to Conestoga College, and I came and I went to work because I was never a great student. I was never that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to work for Brewers Retail, and I'd be going along the expressway. It had a split axle, and I didn't know how to split.
So you got hired as a driver?
Yes.
At this time, did you have a license?
Yep, chauffeurs.
Chauffeurs, yes. So you went right and get it.
Yes,
Okay.
just got me. When I did my license, you had the choice at 16. Do you want operators or chauffeurs? And I said, let's do the chauffeurs.
Mm-hmm.
So away we go. And I didn't know how to do that, and I didn't know about beer cases sliding all over. I had more breakage. Oh, it was awful. It was a disaster, but it was great. I stayed there for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to work for a vacuum cleaner company
Mm-hmm.
in Kitchener.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent 4 years with them on a straight truck,
Mm-hmm.
running deliveries. It was a manufacturer. So we were steady running to Montreal, Ottawa, down into Pennsylvania and stuff like that with a straight truck.
With a straight truck, no bunk?
No bunk.
So where do you sleep?
On the seats.
On the seat?
Back in the day, I had made a box that I could put in between the seats, and in there was a pillow, and I'd stretch out. So at the end of the day, because I couldn't make money, I was $3.75 an hour, and I couldn't make money just doing my regular. I needed the overtime. So at the end of the day, I'd head to Ottawa to be there for the next morning.
No logbooks?
No, not at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And way I'd go, and then I could claim, because I was doing 60, 70, 80 hours a week, but that's
How much do you remember your paychecks?
I don't actually. I don't remember what they were, but it wasn't very much. But I thought it was an inheritance
Mm-hmm.
that I made that much money.
Mm-hmm.
Then from there, I was parking my truck across the road from the traffic manager for a plumbing outfit in Cambridge, and they were a manufacturer again. And he came to me and he knocked on my door, and we hadn't had a great rapport. Came and knocked on the door, and I thought he was going to give me a blast for parking this huge truck in front of his house. Asked if I drove tractor trailer. I said, absolutely. Of course I do. He says, how would you like to come and work for us? I said, sure, I'd like that very much. And came in, he gave me a truck. I gave my notice. I went, my gross salary the last year at the vacuum was $12,500, and I went to $26,000 on a salary.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they paid, was the salary.
Mm-hmm.
So I went, and he gave me the truck, the trailer, and said, off you go to Wallaceburg, and see when you get back. I didn't know where Wallaceburg was, so I had to look on the map, and I found out. Down I went, came back. I had hooked up, and I had, when I was at the vacuum cleaner place, the tractor trailer drivers would come in, and they would let me back it in for them.
So you had a sense.
So I had a sense, and tires. If it's tires, or I have a love for it, and so down to Wallaceburg I went, and I did that for 3 weeks, and then I did my driver's test for him. He had one of his senior guys come in, and he said, "Yeah, he's okay." And I spent the next 12 years there, and then from there, the company was bought by another transportation company. I've worked for companies. I've been a company driver almost my whole life.
Never bought a truck?
Pardon?
Never bought a truck?
No, always wanted to, but I always got talked out of it because of the. But boy, some of the brokers back in the day made out really well. They had a great career. They made a good living. And when I left there, I went to a transportation company. I lasted there 6 months, and I had a bit of a falling out with them. It didn't work so well, and it's a good outfit. It was they were a good outfit. It just wasn't my fit. And then I went to a refinery in Breslau, and I spent the last 27 years there before I retired. And I've been retired now for almost 10 years, and I'm still driving, but I drive for friends now. And if they need a favor or something like that, and I'm grateful that they allow me to come out and play with the trucks. That's what it is. So,
John, as a child, when you were doing this thing in Godrej, at the time, had you processed that one day you want to become a truck driver?
Absolutely not. No, I was a free spirit, and I just whatever happens, happens. I certainly know, and to the detriment of my parents, the poor people, that I was not a good student. I just
but that's okay. I mean,
I brought home.
Education isn't everything to me.
And to that end, the sooner I could get out and get on my own, the better off I'd be. But it didn't require much of a format to get into truck driving, and it was I was fascinated with trucks my whole life, so it didn't take a lot. I have lots of friends that went to school and went to universities and stuff. They still weren't making the money that I was making at that time, so it was lucrative, and it paid for everything in my life. Truck driving's been great to me. I've had nothing but great luck and great success. All that said, it's
what did your parents do?
My dad was a miner. He was military. He was in the Second World War, so we ran the household like that. And my mother was a nurse up in Godrej. And
so why did you live in Godrej? Is that your?
Well, my father moved around. My mother and father, they moved around in different things. And my dad was in construction at that time. And they were down doing a project at the salt mine, and he got hired on there. So that's when I spent the rest
So he worked at the salt mine?
He did, yes.
So for those who do not know what Godrej is, do you mind telling them that it's a big salt mine?
Oh, yeah, it's...
I'm sure some people would know, so just kind of...
It's Sifto Salt was the salt producer of the time. I'm not sure who owns it now. Domtar, I think. And Champion Road Graders. That was the two big industries of the town. And you could work for either one. I had a friend, the same guy that I played hooky in kindergarten with. He went to another school in Clinton, and he went for the 2-year course. I mean, who does that? And as soon as he was done, he was working on the line at Champion, and he made a fabulous life
in Godrej.
In Godrej for his family. He had a car before any of us, and he was doing really well. And I was so glad for him that this is the way that his life went. But there was nothing in Godrej for me. That's why I decided to move on.
So John, this question I want you, it's not a question, it's almost like an analysis. So you are a happy truck driver. You're satisfied with what you did. And you have good things to say about trucking. So do I. So do I. Of course, I don't have the kind of experience you have, but now, why do we see so many angry, unhappy people in trucking? And, they're still doing it. They're still very unsatisfied with what they do in modern day.
I absolutely see it. I got out of it because of it. It's just the micromanaging of it. To a fault, I see one of my biggest pet peeves with this whole trucking industry is that we are not considered a profession. And we have electricians, we have machinists, we have steel workers. We have all these mechanics that are all tradespeople, and we do not have that same accreditation as a truck driver. And the things that I need to know, I need logistics and how to run a business. It's to me, it's a shame. And to that end, I think that it just needs the perking up, or the somebody to get an idea of what's going on. The over managing that they're doing today in the business is also not great. They want medicals for me every year now. They want driver tests and stuff like that. I believe it's all necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I just, at what level, it concerns me.
Do you think people who truck right now do fine financially?
No, not at all. Not at all. There are some companies that advertise their big wages and whatnot, and then they bring you into the fold, and then they starve you and make you work, and you're at their bidding. There again, I've not worked for them, so what you're hearing from me is what I've heard on the road.
Mm-hmm.
It's a starving situation for a lot of fellas, and it's heartbreaking, and fellates, girlies as well as fellas. It's not a male gender much anymore. I don't know what the percentage of each is, but
it's about 3% in Canada, 3 to 4%.
Is female?
Yeah,
that's it. Oh, yeah. I'm surprised. I thought it was more.
Very low.
I thought it was more.
Yeah, and especially in this trade.
The money that the government has stepped in and restricted what I can make for money. They're telling me what I can make. They're running these log books and telling me how much I can drive and how much I can't drive, and so they're restricting me from making a good living. Did I go over the limits on my logbook? Absolutely. That was never a question. I worked the logbook as best I could. Never to any detriment. I never did drugs to do it, to go trucking. If I needed to sleep, I slept. Things of that nature. But
no, but I mean, people who did drugs and stuff like that, and who were wrecking things, those led to these regulations. No.
Yes, I can't dispute that. We have more heavy crashes now than we've ever had.
We did, yeah, true.
And I believe that through regulation. They're telling me that I have to sleep at this time. That's not the way it works. I can't run, my body doesn't run that way. So it's
a tough question to answer. What went wrong? What happened?
The only thing that I can come up with, Ali, is the overregulation and the being forced to do what we have to do to make a living. And we're losing good jobs here to a lot of the big carriers. That it's a very numbered industry now. When I was in the industry, I worked for companies and they knew my name and stuff like that. So today it doesn't matter. I don't know if I can answer the question. When did it go wrong, or how did it go wrong? I don't know if I can answer that correctly.
Because,
there is no correct answer.
There's not one answer. Let's put it this way. There's many answers to this. But I'll tell you what my understanding is. And you're right. I mean, just as you said, I don't have an answer for this too. What went wrong and what happened. But I do know who the victim is. It's the truck driver.
For sure.
It's not the company. It's not the government. It's not, the MTU officer, the enforcer. It is, the victim is the truck driver. Their mental health is worse than ever. Nobody talks about it. They're not taking home for what they do, so they're underpaid. They are underappreciated. Their work is looked upon as something really nasty and dirty. And, there's a series of things. I think it's the truck drivers that are the victims in this whole whatever is happening.
Which brings it back to my other point with, I believe that this should be a profession. This should be a recognized, legitimate profession.
And who can do that?
Well, the powers to be, the powers that say that an electrician is a accredited collegiate or whether you go to Mohawk or whether you go to college for it or not, but it needs to be recognized as a profession. One of the reasons that I did well there is in truck driving, in my opinion, is my support system. And the support system today, I don't believe is, I don't have to, as a truck driver today, I don't have to talk to anyone. Everything comes across my phone, comes across your Googler in the truck or whatever. And my support system, when I worked for these companies, the staff that worked there, my dispatchers were always, they knew my name. They knew what my needs were at my home. They had my home phone number. They could get a hold of my wife. I mean, without a doubt, she was the biggest reason that I was able to last as long as I did in it, because she always made sure that everything at home was just in great order and
How many
stuff like
kids,
that.
John, you had?
I have two. I have a son that lives out in British Columbia now, and a daughter that lives in Cambridge.
Is your son a truck driver?
He's not. He's a mechanic. He owns his own business. Does motorcycles.
He fixes motorcycles?
He does. Yeah.
And your daughter?
She works for Sun Life. She works for the
insurance company?
Yes.
And now 2 kids, and you being the long haul truck driver, you only married once?
Only married 78. So what does that make it? 46 is 47 years, 48 years this year.
How do you do that?
She's going to see that I can't remember that, and that's not going to go well here. Thanks a lot for that. I'll leave it.
No, but my question, how did you do that? I mean, so, the other thing truck drivers struggle is maintaining the relationship.
At my house, birthdays were always on Saturdays. Because I was a long haul driver my whole career, my whole life. Being that way, I only worked 1 week. I was home Fridays and out Sunday noonish most every week. I never had to work 2 and 3 weeks straight, which the drivers today, they're being asked to do this. That is not great. That's not healthy. It's not great. It's not great for a relationship. But so we always had birthdays on Saturdays. There was no anniversaries that weren't on a Saturday. It always seemed to work that way. I don't know why.
You're just lucky.
But everything worked out that way.
I have had many people come on the show here, actually, and they've told me, oh, I screwed up because it was and then they admitted it was their fault. So because, you're gone for days and weeks, and then, things do get hard, right?
Sure, yeah.
To maintain a relationship.
Yep.
Now, so you're a happy truck driver, you maintain one relationship, and you grew your kids, and I guess it all worked out for you.
Oh, it couldn't have been a bit better. It's funny that I had to train her every weekend when I got home, train her to make things right. But then I realized that she's been running this thing for her whole life. I'm just a fellow that shows up on the weekend. She's got everything in tow, and everything's just the car maintenance, the house maintenance. Anything goes wrong, she looks after it. And I just we talked every day on the phone, and
how would you communicate pre-cell phone era?
Every day. It was part of the company that I worked for. They allowed us to have a phone call every day, and we would charge it to another number, and they give us a phone call. My phone calls, she's not a phone talker, so our phone calls were 5, 10, 15 minutes, never too long. And
was it at the same time every day?
It was. So with that, it's funny you should say, oh, this is great. You bring back some memories. When I called and the line was busy, wasn't a great time at my house, because the kids knew, and my son and my daughter both knew that at 9 o'clock, nobody's to be on the phone because Dad's calling through. And I would, and very rarely did I ever not get through. It's funny you mentioned that. That's great. That's a great memory. Thank you. Oh yeah, we had, we were very regimented. We had things to do, and it was an outfit. Same as working for the companies, like I said, with my dispatchers and the mechanics. I mean, I've had nothing but good luck with these people helping me to do my job, and I've only been good at my job because of my support system. So from management on down. I've worked for some dickheads, absolutely. Everybody does, but you deal with that.
Yeah, that's part of life.
It is.
Yeah. Now, did your wife have anybody in trucking?
Her dad actually
Was a truck driver.
He
so
was.
See, that's what I was trying to get to.
Well, he and his truck driving experience. Oh, we had a lot of fun with Arnold. He's quite a character. He had a bar up in Narran Center.
No, you have to tell me where that is.
Sudbury, just
okay.
west of Sudbury. And he had a bar there, and
he owned the bar.
He and the whole family, they worked it. And then when that went south, then he went to working for cement trucks. He went for a cement truck company, and he helped pour for the super stack that they had there. Every time we go by it, I get the story about how he did that. But then he came south, and he lived in Hamilton, and he worked for a steel hauling company, and he hauled from Hamilton to Windsor every day.
The tractor trailer?
Tractor trailer, and hauling steel. We used to joke with him, young upstarts. I was 30, new in the business. I'd say, Arnold, you got a bunk on your truck, do you? And he says, yeah. And he says, boy, that must be tough making her all the way down there and all the way back. He says, I backed up further than you bastards, gone straight ahead. He says, he was pretty good about that. We had a lot of fun with teasing him, but he was an old school guy.
Yeah. So he wasn't a long haul truck driver. So your wife didn't know.
No, and she was out of the house when she was 16, and I don't think he was truck driving at that time, but he evolved into the truck driving.
So she didn't have any experience in how does a trucking household look like?
No.
Now, John, is it your credit or is it your wife's credit that you guys are still together? Because, truck drivers can struggle a lot in their relationship.
Oh, it's only me.
Don't tell me.
Oh, it's only me. She'll be the first to tell. No, it's her. If I've had a bad day at work, she'll make it great, and she'll smooth things over. And we've always done things. We've never taken separate vacations. We don't do that. We always take our vacations as a family. We do all those things. So it was a lot of effort, there was no effort. It was what I wanted or what she wanted, and away we went. We were good.
What did your wife do?
She was an accountant for one of our meat shops in
the area.
Yes, it was a national, and she was one of the accountants there. She was the accountant there.
So if you tell me that you did not have any hardships in your life in your relationship actually because of trucking, that wouldn't be true.
That would be absolutely not true. I've had everything. We've had no ill marital issues. Certainly, we've had money issues, but that's nobody gets by without that.
Yeah, well, this is part
but
of it.
Never
because of trucking.
Because of trucking, ever.
So she understood what you did.
That's what it is.
She was totally okay with that.
Yep.
Where is that thing? It's not that common anymore.
No, it's not. We're both. I would not say that we're upwardly mobile, but we like our creature comforts. We've always had a good car. I've always driven a shit box because I only got to go to work once a week. But so I always had a shit box, but I made sure that she had at least a decent car to get her back and forth to her work. And we're hot rodders. We have hot rods. We got motorcycles now. I'm leaving for BC in a couple of weeks.
Really?
On the bike, yeah.
Wow. What kind of bike you got?
Suzuki M109.
Nice.
It's
So what is this thing between truck drivers and motorcycles? Like majority
tires. If it's tires, tires or tracks. Usually it's another word in there, but this is a family.
The majority of truck drivers end up becoming a biker.
Yeah. It's the travel. So when I retired at 62, so I'm 71, so that's 9 years ago. I retired, and I had trouble with that because I didn't feel relevant any longer anywhere. I was at home, and I did whatever old retired guys do, which is not very much. And then I had a friend of mine who runs a local farm here call me up and asked me if I'd come in and do a little bit of work for him or just to help him out because one of his guys didn't show up. And I said, sure. And it's been a blessing ever since. I've had a couple or three different companies that call me and ask me if I can come. And if I'm available, I can go. And if I can't, I can't.
John, what's the craziest thing you've seen on the road?
The poor driving skills amounts to a great deal of the distress I've seen. People doing stuff. And it's not restricted to four-wheelers. It's big trucks as well. I see a lot of that. Since our trucks have all been governed now, I find that's a heck of that's a sore spot. I had a truck that would run out at 90 mile an hour, and then they came in and they started restricting the trucks. And the company that I drove for at that time, the manager of the garage came up to me and said, "Johnny, how fast your truck go?" And I knew what he was getting at. I said, "It'll go." He says, "Tell me, or I'm going to take it for a drive and I'll find out myself." I told him what it would go, and they restricted it. I said, "Why did you do that?" And he says, "Well, we can't have you going that fast." I said, "Let's review how many speeding tickets I've had," and that sort of thing. And that. What else can we think of that?
I mean, like the craziest. So, as a truck driver, if you tell me you never saw anything crazy on the road, that won't be true. Because what truck drivers see, not many people get to see that. That could be in many different ways.
Yes, it is. Yeah. You see goofy things going on in cars beside you. You see lots of that sort of thing. Yeah. I've seen a couple of absolute physical fights in truck stops. I've seen.
Among truck drivers?
I would say so. Yeah. Yeah. They decided to bring it into the parking lot and decide to have at her. So away they go. So I've never really had to get too involved in stuff like that. What other crazy stuff do you see? Some of the crashes I've seen. Wow, some of the crashes I've seen are unbelievable.
Give me the one that sticks with you.
Well, it was, and I didn't see this. I saw it on the YouTube. And it was the one it's in Minnesota in a snowstorm, and they just keep piling back into each other because nobody
can stop.
Nobody's telling anybody. Pull out of it. You got to without the CB, and we don't have that much anymore. So I saw that. Some of the crazy accidents. Oh, I've seen a couple out in the mountains when I was out in BC. Boy, oh boy, guys piling it in. Guy was right sideways, upside down on the Trans-Canada. Closed it off. It was closed for almost a day.
Did you have any close calls yourself?
Oh, sure. Close calls. Never had a wreck.
Never had a wreck?
The day I retired, I pretty near had a tear in my eye when I was driving home, thinking that I had done my career without hurting anyone. It was really quite a revelation for me. I don't know why, but it almost feels emotional now to be able to say that.
No, well, you're probably a responsible driver.
Well, I would if I could say my skill set, it would be aggressive. I'm an aggressive.
You were an aggressive driver?
I was an aggressive driver. I like to keep going. I don't crowd people. I don't cut people off. I don't do that. But I like to stay steady. I like to keep right at it. Back in the day, we were doing anywhere between 600 and 800 miles a day, and that was a standard day. And we can't do that now, not with the restrictions and stuff. So, but I would say I was somewhat aggressive.
Why do you say that? What is your definition of aggressive?
If someone's dawdling, you've heard the adage, either lead or follow. Just get out of my way.
Yeah.
So that kind of comes into play. So I don't like to be boxed in. So I'll get around and I'll keep steady.
So, in my understanding, that is probably the reason you never had a wreck. Because, when you try not to stay in a group, you're more likely to stay safe. You're by yourself and,
But, okay, so back in the day, back when I first started driving, I drove with Another one of my very best friends in the world. He drove for a company out of Strathroy. He's actually in sales now. He sells trucks for Volvo. But he and I would go, and the mic was never set down the entire way to Halifax and all the way back. We get into more shenanigans doing stuff, and we had such a great time. But we would travel in groups of 3 or 4. You had Bob Wallace, Bobcat on. Bob and I also have traveled at great lengths and never put the mic down the entire time we've had that. So we'll go in groups, but you're within a quarter of a mile of that sort of thing and stuff like that. But I can't, personally, I can't get boxed in. I don't feel comfortable. So I get out. And the speed restriction thing has caused that. It's a huge elephant race now. And and I don't know anybody that thinks that's a great thing. Now then, when a guy passes me in a truck and I'm doing 120 in my car on the 401 and he passes me in his truck, I'm not keen on that. Yeah. These trucks are not made to do that. You blow a tire at 120, blow a steer on you're going to be in big trouble. So things of that nature.
So you knew your limits. That's what it is.
For the most part, yes.
John, how many states in the U.S. you've been to?
All but Alaska.
All but Alaska?
Yeah.
And Hawaii?
And Hawaii. I'd go to Hawaii, but I have to take a good run at her.
You've been to every single state, pretty much, by land, right? Yes. And how many provinces in Canada and territories?
All but the territories.
You haven't been to Yukon?
No.
Okay. You have a desire to go there?
Yes, I do, actually.
Yeah.
It seems to be waning. Maybe I'm getting old. Maybe I don't need to do that drive. I've seen lots of videos on it and stuff. It's tough on the equipment. We now have an RV, and I thought we'd take that up. But boy, it's tough on the equipment. Some of the roads aren't the best.
Yeah.
But like I said, my son lives out in BC, and we've been out there. I built a truck. I built a fifth wheel to travel with. It was a 1948 Ford. And we were out there 4 times with it, and we were out.
Hang on a second. It's a truck so that you can pull the motorhome with, or the trailer with?
It was a hot rod. I'll show you a picture afterwards.
Sure, yeah.
And so I built that to do that, and we've traveled great lengths. We were out to It's One car shows quite a bit. It was a rather unique piece. Anyways, so with all the traveling that we have done, I'm not so quick to travel that much anymore. I'm just, I'm happy to be out and about, but I just don't have to travel all that far.
So what is wrong with modern day trucking, in your opinion, John?
Solitude is one of them. I'm going to revert.
Do you want to explain me solitude?
The fact that I have no interaction with anyone. I don't need to. I'll go to a customer now, and instead of greeting me at the gate, there'll be a slot to put my paperwork, and it'll go in, and then they'll back up to the dock, and I sit in the truck, and when the light changes, away you go. There is no interaction with shippers, receivers, limitedly. You don't have to go into your office anymore. You can do everything remotely. So it's the fact that you are so on your own and secluded now, I think is a detriment. I had another thought there and I lost it there. The fact of the matter is, to me, is the solitude that you're out there is not a great thing for trucking. It makes it even more lonely when you're out there. So doing that.
You know, 15 years ago, this company I worked for, and I was just a young fella, but there was a very cultured, a whole bunch of cowboys working together kind of thing. And, you know, I felt really bad for the dispatchers, because when somebody would come back from the road, they would go into the office and they would sit there and yap for hours. And the dispatcher had to put up with it. And they would listen to their stories and, you know, kind of interact with them. And somewhat they would enjoy it. And somewhat I felt like they were just listening to them. But I think that was a little therapy session for them, for the drivers.
You betcha, yeah. Because they've been lonesome. They've been on their own. When I was with this refinery in Breslau, at different times, I've done different jobs there. I did shunt work for a couple or 3 years, and I had a vision of moving into the office at one time. I even applied for the manager's job. That didn't. Thank goodness it didn't, because I just visions of sugar plums. But anyways, the manager at the time said, "Hey, Johnny, why don't you come on in? We've got a dispatcher going on holidays, and you can learn the business a little bit." So I went into the office, and the gal that was running the U.S. side, she was a peach. She was a great gal, Merle. But she had to teach me how to turn the computer on.
Oh, right.
That's how deep she had to go with
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And I would go in at 6 in the morning, and I would go home at 6 or 7 at night, because it took me that long. Because I'm a pecker, I'm a seek and on the computer, because I had no skills at that at
Mhm.
all. But I lasted there doing that for probably 4 or 5 years. So I got to do that, the dispatching side of things as well. So when you talk about that, to a detriment, when they came in, I'm so glad to see these guys. I didn't get much work done, but I sure visited well. It was a great visit.
Yeah. Tell me about shunting. So you were the yard shunt guy?
Yes, sir.
So the yard shunt guy kind of suffers the same thing. You know, the driver drives in to drop a trailer. Now they need somebody to yap with, right? And then the shunt driver is the first target.
It's first, and luckily, the company that you worked for and I worked well together. They're what a great bunch they were. They'd come in and they'd seek me out
Hmm.
and say, "Hey, Johnny, where do you want me to put this? Put it right over there, or put it right over there. Or you're good to it. You may as well just stick that right." And they were always so accommodating. The fellows that I worked for at that company, they were good too, because they knew what to do and where to
Hmm.
put it and stuff. So I had a great go. It's just I was penned in.
Hmm.
I couldn't. A highway trip for me was down the road, just go
Right.
down,
Right.
3 blocks, and that was a highway
Yeah.
trip.
Yeah. So, John, let's talk about the development within the equipment. So, did you drive automatic trucks?
I've only just started to, and boy, I love it.
You liked it?
Oh, heck yeah! You can build a sandwich and drive down the road. I mean, you don't. It's really changed it. They are becoming. Um, I wouldn't say lady friendly. I wouldn't say that. I would say that they're becoming. Um, they're enablers. In the new trucking industry, they're making it so that anyone can drive these things. The only thing that you have to remember is just take all the room you need, and you're a good truck driver. And then away you go. I'm sorry, you're not a good truck driver, but you can drive a truck. Um, I When I started, power steering had just come in. That was 80, 84. We had a couple of trucks that were Armstrong in there, so I had to learn on stuff like that. But I love shifting gears. So
Now, so okay, I'm glad you bring in the power steering thing. So, do you remember approximately what year it was at?
70, 72, 70, 71, 72 Freightliner, cab
Hmm.
over. It had Armstrong. They ended up putting air assist in it.
Hmm.
But boy, that thing, you had to put your foot in the dash and give it a pull to come around the corners.
Did people struggle back then when the power steering came out? Did people, like right now, there's a big battle going on between, oh, if you can drive without a manual truck, you shouldn't be a truck driver. Like there's people with very strong opinion on that.
Um, I I believe it's all facets. I think I absolutely think you should learn on a standard, an automatic. But listen, Ollie, you have your ear more to the ground than I do. I think it's the way of the future. I think it's going to be all there is. I think a manual transmission is going to be out, except in extreme situations. Like you talk about logging in the mountains, or if you talk about iron ore up in Labrador and things of that nature, where they need to have the control. I don't like the control that an automatic gives me. So if I'm stuck, I'm buggered. I can't rock.
Hmm.
I can't do that. I think that every truck driver, every person in the industry should learn all the equipment that they can.
Hmm. No, but my question is, I'm trying to do a comparison here because right now people are really, really not everybody. There's people that hold the opinion you hold that and I've met a whole bunch of people that did only thing in their life is trucking, but they're still kind of they like. the automatic trucks. But then there's people that absolutely think automatic trucks are trash. They shouldn't exist.
They're elitists. I believe there's room for everybody. There's room for all things. I really enjoy the automatic. I mean, it just it frees me up to play on my phone. It frees me up. Okay, maybe not.
It's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Tell me. Tell me what else you did. What else you did, John?
All right. No, I don't see a downside to it. The equipment works for me. I don't work for the equipment. Sure, you're feeling great. You go down the road, you're grabbing gears. I mean, it's a great feeling. It's be able to do that. I would. Which do I prefer? Now I prefer the automatic almost.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a.
Did people struggle back then when the transition happened between automatic, or sorry, the power steering and
No,
the
no, it was a blessing. It was a great thing.
But still, now I mean, clutch does take a lot of effort.
Yeah. I don't think that. Well, reverting back, I just think if you're going to be a complete truck driver, so you're going to tell me that the guy that's stuck on the side of the road, they hook him out a manual transmission, he can't drive it. So he'll have to be hooked in. He'll have to be hooked out an automatic. People don't have automatics sitting around. If they've got shit equipment sitting in the yard, they'll take whatever they can get. So you need to be prepared. And to me, that's
the biggest.
How do you like it? How do you like the automatic?
I'd never driven one. I don't know.
You've never driven automatic?
Well, I never
push a button and away you go.
Yeah.
You gotta.
No, I've driven never driven as let's say I never taken a load on an automatic truck.
I've never had an automatic on liquid, which is what I've done the last 30 years was liquid. And my friend that sells trucks, he said, "Boy, John," he says, "if you ever got one, you never want to go back because it's smooth, and in the shifting you shift, whereas in a freight haul you don't care, you can just go ahead."
Yeah.
But they say that it makes you liquid makes you a better driver.
Absolutely. It makes you a better shifter for sure.
Listen, I was long into the business before I got liquiding, and I knew I was the best driver out there. I knew it. And then I got liquiding, and boy, it kicked my ass a time or two. Holy smokes. Oh, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. When I had the privilege of shutting down or not stalling, but I mean, how you go to the booth at the border.
Oh, sure.
And you shut the truck off.
Yeah.
Couple times actually the truck wouldn't start.
Oh boy, yeah.
It happened to me twice.
Oh great.
And both time, when I tell the officer there, I was like, "Oh, I can't start anymore." And they would ask me, "Are you automatic or manual?" And I would say manual. And they would bring out this pickup truck.
Give you a tug.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the second time I asked him, "What if I was automatic?" I was like, "Well, then you're gonna have to get this towed."
Yeah.
So the point is,
yeah,
the manual would do a whole bunch of things that you can get a tow or
I there again, my friend that sells Jim there, he has a great answer for all this stuff. But to me personally, I could go with either one. It's but I do like the big shifter. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's great to be up shift gears.
So by the time 9 years ago when you retired, was there something in trucking that you missed that existed before and was not present in later days of your trucking?
Camaraderie. The time that I spent at previous companies, I didn't have that camaraderie at the last company at the refinery. We were all business. We were all getting paid by the mile, and the last company I worked prior to it was a salary. So everybody was always, you could stop at a restaurant, you could do that.
I actually never met anybody who's a truck driver and he gets a salary.
Yeah, it was odd to me too. It was when I quit there. The company that bought our transportation division was a transportation company. They're out in 97 on the 401. One of the companies out there. They came in and they bought the company. But when I was done there, I was in the neighborhood of, well, that's back in 89, 90. I was almost 60,000 a year salary plus per diem when it was 100.
Plus what, sorry?
Per diem. I was getting meals and what they call it bunk money, or they get paid meals and stuff. I was getting $35 a day for that as well. So when I was out there, So I never touched my paycheck. I didn't have to.
No, but wouldn't you, like, if you get paid salary, wouldn't you, did you have fixed hours at least?
No. And you worked for every penny. It's funny. You say, I when you hear somebody working for salary, well, they're a bunch of dog.
Yeah, I mean, like your hours.
If I get it done, I don't. It was never like that. You're given a load of work, and you went out and did it. I don't know how he was good that way. He pushed.
What if you get if you get to call in sick?
Um,
Because it's salary, there's a whole bunch of things, right?
so this is one of those stories. I was on salary.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter was. I got called. I was in Port Huron. My wife has gone into labor, and I'm in Port Huron dumping a load. She was a week or two early. So, anyways, I get in the truck. I unloaded. I reloaded. Back to the plant, and she had, in the meantime, had been sent home.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't going to happen. And then before I got home, she was sent back in because it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So now I get there, and it's 2 or 3 in the morning, and I had my next load already, and I was ready to go. And I called one of the other drivers. This is on salary. Called one of the other drivers to cover my shift. So and I was ever so happy to say that I hadn't missed a shift, even through the birth. And I thought, what a dipshit move that is. That's just silly that somebody would do that. But on salary, you worked.
So what happened? Did he?
I was there for it.
The guy ended up taking the load?
And he ended up taking the load. He was
No,
off.
but what if he did not?
Pardon?
What if he said no?
I'd have had to go.
Oh, John,
yeah.
you can't do that.
I know. But that was the mentality. I wasn't awful cute, not real bright. I just, I would I have gone? Oh, I expect I would have. I hate to say that, but I probably would have had to have gone.
Mm-hmm.
But my friend Steve, he took it for me, and we had that camaraderie. So with that said, what am I missing now? What was I missing then? Was that the personal thing? I'm a bit of a socialite. I like to visit. I like to go down the road with a bunch of the fellas and talk, and we didn't have too much of that. Everybody's pretty concerned about getting their miles, getting the loads, and I don't ever hold that against any of the lads there, but it's just not something that I was.
So this is one of those sacrifices a lot of truck drivers I know personally have made. You know, they were their wife is giving birth and they can't be present because they're delivering a load.
I was there for both.
Yeah. Well, you were lucky, but I mean, do you know people that
remember Saturdays? I told her, I said, listen, make that work on a Saturday. I'm sorry, what was your question?
No, I was just trying to do a little bit of commentary here. I was trying to, because, I always highlight how the kind of sacrifices truck drivers make. And I was saying this is one of those sacrifices truck drivers make. And sometimes, they're gone. And I know people personally that were gone on a load and they came back and they had a child. And then I can't even imagine that lives with you kind of thing, right? And I think it even lives with the kid when they grow up.
It's an absolute frustrating part of the job to miss out. I have friends that they had anniversaries or they've had, and I couldn't go. I had to work. I have a fairly strong work ethic. So I learned that from my folks and from my wife and stuff like that. I've learned that's a strong thing for me. And to that end, I've let things go by that I should have said, no, I can't do that because I've got this going on and I should take that time. And I don't know. Do I see that as a fault in some of our new truck drivers that are coming in, that they don't have that work ethic? I've heard of the company that I'm with now, or the company that I just left 9 years ago. They have fellas that are saying that they don't want to go here and they don't want to go there and do this picking and choosing and stuff. And I'm thinking, how the hell how did they do that? It's just beyond me. When they gave me a load, okay, way you go.
What's your favorite line, or what's your favorite direction to drive into?
East
of Canada?
Maritimes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I had more fun in the Maritime. And there again, that's back in the 70s, 80s. Oh, we had us a time down there. We had the truck stops. I'm not a drinker. I'll have a beer now and then, or my wife will dispute that. She says as soon as we go to the islands, stick an umbrella in it and you turn into an arsehole. But I'm basically not a drinker. But some of the truck stops, they serve booze and stuff. And
Mhm.
Tuesday night social club we had down there, boy, guys get right in the bag. Then up Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning into Halifax we go and do
Mhm.
your work and then head back home and stuff like that. And we would reconnect back then. So,
Mhm.
but East to me has been the best. What's been the running west? Ran west for uh, a number of years. We had a team that ran west, and when they would take a holiday, it was open to whoever wanted to grab it. And I grabbed her a bunch of times, and
Mhm.
I loved it. But I was gone 3
Mhm.
weeks, and that was, that's the only time I've been gone that long.
Mhm.
But the West was fabulous, fabulous,
Mhm.
the scenery and stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Canada,
But
yeah,
we've got such a
it's endless.
it's
I
wonderful.
mean, I don't. So for many years, I don't travel abroad. So every summer, I explore Canada. That's been my thing. And I say, I mean, if you live in Canada, you don't have to go anyplace. Like the kind of scenery we have here. And
Sure,
I'm a nature lover, right? So I
sure,
like to
yeah,
hike and stuff
yeah.
like that. So
So the West is
what you
good for
find in
you.
Canada, you don't find anywhere else.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
One of another truck driver story here that we got a call and we were delivering a load of bathtubs. We had a pottery plant that did toilets, but one of their divisions was they also did fiberglass bathtubs.
Mm-hmm.
And this 2 loads of bathtubs had to be out to Port aux Basques, Newfoundland for 9 o'clock Monday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked if anybody wanted to take it. And I said, sure, I'll take that. I'll take one of them. And another one of my buddies there, Bob, he took the other one. And we got to the ferry on Saturday morning, and we took the ferry across Saturday morning. We left like Thursday night, so we were at the ferry for Friday morning. Went across to Port aux Basques and got a room there. Went to the Legion. Oh, we had a blast there. We had a great time. Drunken Newfies. We had such a time. Got up Sunday morning. I had dropped my trailer. I had a double bunk cab over International, same one Bob had, and we jumped in it. And we might have had some refreshment in there with us, and we drive out through the Caudray Valley, and it's within 10, 20 miles of Port aux Basques. I have a picture at home of I was probably 10 kids. I had them up on the roof and on the back of the tractor. They're all taking a big picture because a big fancy truck they had there. So then we went to the Starlight Lounge.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of the Rec House?
I have not.
It's as soon as you get off Port aux Basques and you're heading to St. John's, you have to go through an area of highway. It's called the Rec House.
Mm-hmm. The highway is called Rec House?
It's called the Rec House because the wind has been recorded at over 260 kilometers. And somebody said, that's bullshit. And I said, well, here's the picture of the sign because people don't believe it. So I have a picture of that sign as well. Blows trucks right off the road. At the scale house, before you go through, you'll ask the scale master on the radio, how's the weather? And he said, well, it's good. If you got a little bit of weight on, you're good. And so at the far end of the Rec House is a place called the Starlight Lounge.
Mm-hmm.
So we were out through the Caudray Valley at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We get to the Starlight Lounge. The place is packed with drunken newfies at 3 in the afternoon. And Minnie White and the boys were playing. She's a little old gal. She's got her squeeze box she's playing. And we were out there. We had a couple of beers and away. It was the best day ever. Monday morning we delivered. Monday afternoon we're back on the ferry. So just another one of those truck drivers.
Oh, that was a good story, actually. I love Newfoundland.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay. So I got some quick questions for you. Best truck you ever drove?
Kenworth. I'm to a fault. I love every truck I've had. I've had Internationals I really liked. I didn't like them until I drove them, and then I really liked them. I had a Peterbilt that I liked as well. But Kenworth is my go-to truck. I love a Kenworth. And I've driven them, just about all of them.
Night driving or day driving?
Oh, day driving.
Favorite truck stop meal?
Oh, be down at the Curry Hill at the border. They had this, of all things, it was a salad that I liked. Oh, I'm not going to admit I eat a salad, but I ate a salad. The salad that they have down there.
For a truck driver, that's
Curry
quite
Hill.
something.
Oh, I know, yeah. But they had a hot hamburg sandwich down there that was good. That was a great truck stop.
Which was toughest, snow, mountains, or city traffic?
All the above. It's one of the reasons I got out of it is because they sent me the last 2 weeks that I worked there. They sent me into Toronto and told me to pay attention and do as I'm told. And that's one of the reasons I got it. So I'd probably have to say city.
City traffic?
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
that's probably the word.
Favorite trucking song?
Oh, any one of them. The Haynesville Woods.
Mhm. One thing only truck drivers understand.
Lonely.
Being lonely? Yeah. You only know when you drive one.
Yeah.
Did you have a CB radio nickname?
Quincy.
Quincy?
Yeah.
And where does that come from?
John Quincy Adams, first president of the United States, first president in the White House. So
Right.
I had Quincy my whole life.
Right. John, I want to thank you for being here.
Oh, Ali, it's been a
I
slice.
told you it's not going to feel like a show.
Oh no, it's great.
It was
It's
just a
good.
great conversation, was it not?
Yeah.
And you were nervous to begin with,
Oh,
right?
yeah, a little bit. Yeah, still am. I don't want to. I'm a cusser, so I'm trying not to because
I think we had a fantastic show
awesome. I think
we
it's been
did.
great. Thanks very
Yeah.
much for having me.
for sure.
Anybody that's proactive for truck driving to me is all right.
Well, it does need a lot of attention.
Oh, it
And
does.
I
Yeah.
have the skill, so I thought maybe I should try to do this.
Well,
And
I know of you, and I know because I know of you before this,
Mhm.
and somebody had said that, but I didn't know it was you that was running this. But they
Mhm.
said there's a truckers channel out now, and it's this, that, and the other. And I looked at it, and you had Dennis Fisher on.
Mhm.
Dennis and I are, and Bob Wallace and Dave Hall and stuff.
Mhm.
All these fellas that I knew, and I thought, oh, this is great. So I watched most of those interviews, and anybody that can make those guys look interesting. I mean, all of those guys are all a bunch of
No, I think
deadbeat
all
truck drivers. Are all a bunch of
all
deadbeat
truck drivers are interesting. They just never been highlighted.
Well,
I think it's
quite a format that you have going.
yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
And for you, I mean, just keep your head above it, and you'll be fine.
Mhm.
I mean, your personality is shining. You'll do fine with this. But if they can keep these shitheads out of it, and I think we're going to be fine.
Thank you, John, for your time.
Thank you
I
very much.
appreciate it. Thank you for watching the show. We'll catch you guys next Sunday.
Cheers.
If you are one of those truck drivers who is willing to say what they feel and see on the road or anywhere in the trade, please do contact us at info@thetruckstopshow.ca. Write us your phone number and we'll get in touch and bring you on the show.